Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Myself and Lee to talk all things Arsenal. And there are some news breaking around Saka, Rice, and Odegaard. And we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the goings on at Arsenal, the Edu situation. Although we have talked about it and we know what's happening there, we're going to mention some of the things that we think might be happening. And the fan base, we're going to discuss. There's meltdowns, there's positivity, there's negativity, there's balance in the middle. But it's all welcome. And we're going to talk about why some fans don't seem to be able to listen to other fans without rowing with them on social media or wherever it be. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Big up to all of you. Make sure you do me a favour. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe. We're very close to 40k. So please make sure that you get us to 40k. That is the next target that we need. If you can come follow myself at Football's 12th Man, I'm getting close to 30k. So let's get both of myself and this channel up to where it needs to be, 40 and 30. And then we're both on the road to 50, which is amazing. So please make sure that you can get us to that target. How you doing, Judge?
Yeah, all good. All good. Just gone and picked up me Ferrari, which is very nice, courtesy of the Arsenal. Thank you very much for that. So that was very nice. Red and white one as well. They give me AFC number plates. A
gift from the Cronkies, wasn't it?
A gift from the Cronkies for being so positive. You know what I mean? So
let's start with that. Because I want to address a couple of these things because I've seen a couple of things and you want to talk on a couple of bits as well. So I'll let you have the floor, mate. Go on.
No, I've been getting a lot of stick for being positive. So people think that I've been bought by the Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? Some of the imaginations of people are unbelievable. It's like, oh, let's have Lee in for a meeting, and Lee, look, you start being positive all the time, and we'll hook you up with this and that, like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that,
Be nice, though, wouldn't it? Be nice, I'll tell you that.
It would be nice, but I still wouldn't. I couldn't do that. At the end of the day, I see it how it is. And listen, I'm a football fan. First and foremost, I'm a football fan. So I can turn on a sixpence, and that's what it's about, like one bad result and I'm gone, so one good result, I'm the other way. So, listen, there's a lot of people, wanting Mikel out and all that. And there's a lot of fans out there that have been on that train for a long time, and then they're going to get off that train. They're on that train, you know what I mean? They've got their cabins, they've got their beds in there, they've got their little ovens and food and everything in there. They're not getting off. They've got a around the world ticket. They're not getting off, Some people get off and on those trains. You know what I mean? Like at the moment, I'm on the platform. That's how I see it. Like, I'm staying positive because I do look at it and think that we've had a tough run of games. I think our next 10 games, by the way, Dan, are not. And I expect better results than what we had in our last 10 games. And if we don't, then my opinions will change. But at this moment in time, I still think we've had a tough run with injuries as well. Now, if we can we've got 10, I wouldn't say they're favourable if you look at the 10, but they're 10 games that I expect Arsenal to get 30 points from. Why shouldn't I? When I think that what they are, they're one of the best teams. Difficult games in there. We've got Man United away in that. Man United at home in that game. Brighton away. Tottenham at home. Brentford away, not easy. Fulham away, not easy. But they're games that I think that Arsenal, if you're going for the title, need to win. So I'm going to stay positive at this moment in time. Now, if someone wants to be negative, that's up to them. Good luck to them. Fair enough. I ain't got a problem with that. But it does make me laugh, you know what I mean? Like, like people just turn around and just say, like, like the club have bought him, you know what I mean? Now, like, you know what I mean? Sold out to the club. Sold out to the club. I've sold out to Arsenal Football Club. Can you believe that? Like, listen, at the end of the day, I will judge it come May. At this moment in time, Arsenal not are in a challenging position to win the league. That's not good. It isn't, Dan, you know what I mean? But we've had 2 fantastic years of winning things and challenging at the moment. So one little bad patch, I'm not going to turn at the moment and go mad, like, it's going to have to be a lot more than that for me to turn. And by Christ, in the past I've turned. Don't worry about that if I don't think things are going well. At the moment, I still feel that there's a chance that we can turn it around. And why I feel that, I will stay positive.
Yeah, look, excuse me. I totally understand that everything we do is about opinions. I don't really understand why there is a complete outrage if someone's is different to the others. One of my favourite shows I do is Tuesday nights, which is on my show Arsenal Roundabout. I get so many people on there with difference of opinions. Because
Mm.
if I just went on a podcast, and you probably have the same, say I don't know, there's four people and you sat there and in Arteta, great, I know, just going through a bad spell, and you're going to be brilliant. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll win it one day, don't you? Yeah, I do. Right at the end, everyone's going to go, cool, that wasn't much of a debate, was it? That was a bit boring. If you get completely different opinions in football, causes a debate. I mean, look, big up to in the chat, Don, right? Me and him see things well differently at football, right? He see things completely different to me, but we get on well and we have good shows and we have good debates. I actually enjoy sharing a platform with Don more than I do most people because he makes me see things differently at Chelsea. I make him see things differently at in football debates as well. It's the way it goes. But there's so many out there right now that if you don't agree with them, they'll just fall out with you, or they'll have a go at you, or they'll say you're on a payroll, or they'll tell you that you're a clown or whatever it be. And I've had this for so long. I've had this for 5 years because I'm in this regime, so I'm kind of used to it now, I suppose. But I've got this kind of things here, right? This is the sort of thing that I agree with Tammy. You're entitled to have a moan up. The prices you pay to watch the game. If you want to moan, you have a moan. And then you've got Ryan, who thinks, what's the point if you don't live life positively? Both of those things are absolutely fine to say, by the way.
And correct.
And they're correct, right? So this is what I don't get. You get the amount of people that say, you need to be positive. You need to go to games. You need to cheer on the boys. You need to buy a Cronky scarf. You need to tuck it around your head. Get behind the team because the Cronkies are taking us to a new level. You get some that go, I'll go to the games, but I ain't really convinced about what we're doing at the moment. And then you get those that say, I'll go to the games, but actually I'm thinking about stopping going. So I don't really think we're serious. And I think the owners that lack ambition. What's wrong with any three of them? I don't get it. I don't see it, just because he don't believe the Cronkies are going to take us to glory. Don't mean he's a wanker. And just because he's sitting there with his hands on his hands under his thighs, saying I'm not going to do anything because I'm a good fan and I'm just going to get on with it. How does that make you a better fan than someone who's screaming that the Cronkies need to go or that Arteta needs to go? I just think it's welcome because we all want one thing and that's Arsenal to win, but we see different ways in which we do it. Yeah, I think we need more ambitious owners. I think we need a better manager. You're quite happy to see it out because you feel like actually the Cronkies ain't done a bad job. They put the money down. Arteta's got the team. Now go and win it. We're both different in that respect. I know there's people that I get on the Tuesday night like a gal who thinks Arteta's the Messiah and he's going to take us to a treble. Everyone's different, mate. Everyone is completely different about how they see football, man. And that's what we love about it, right?
100%, 100%. And I think that, listen, I love the fans that have got that attitude of, well, you know, like entitlement, if you want, like we should be winning titles. And that. I was brought up in an era when that wasn't the case, Dan. And maybe that's why I'm like I am, because when I first followed Arsenal, I never ever thought they was going to win the league. It was never like they never changed. It was a dream, a pipe dream. Then it became a reality. And blight, my God, we nearly blew it in '89. I'd love to say, like, if you could go back to that era and have this, what we've got now, and how that season would have panned out, like, you know what I mean, like with he's blew it, Jules Graham, he's got to go, you know what I mean, like it would have been like he's won one League Cup and now we got us to the near to win the title. We only needed to beat Derby at home, we were bottom of the league, and we've blown it. You know, he's got to go. I'd love to have known how that would have panned out. It would be fantastic if you could do that. But that's how it was. And, you know, Arsene Wenger come along. Don't forget we was on another little drought from then. You know, I think it was 91 was when we won the league, and then it was 98. So, you know, 7 years of, you know, watching the Premier League, you know, wishing it could be us when it was Man United, and it was us. And, you know, we've had some fantastic times. So I'm a little bit like that, but, you know, me and you are not on the same page, are we? Let's be honest. We are not. No. We're on different pages of the book, but we don't fall out over it. And I'll tell you what, I don't feel. I've never gone to you like you like. I can reveal that I'm like it, you're like it. Sometimes we put on messages, and I'll go. I remember saying to Russ, I was with Russ, and I said, "There's a message from Dan." It was after. I can't remember what game it was. We weren't great. And I said, this is not going to be positive from Dan, right? Like, you know what I mean? And we opened it up and we both laughing our heads off because it wasn't. But I don't put back on it like, oh, shut up, Dan, you're a clown. You know what I mean? And put
exactly.
clown emojis and all that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've not got the clown emoji on my, I've got it, but I don't use it. You know what I mean? Like, what a disrespect, you know, you call someone a clown because they've got a different of opinion to you, like, you know what I mean? I do find it funny. I do find it, but listen, I'm happy to listen to anybody that's got Wenger out, Arteta out, or
Kroenke's out or
whatever. Yeah, I like to listen to it, and then I judge my own opinion from it. Like, you know, and if someone changes,
you know
my
what?
opinion,
I bet you, right? If you listen to somebody who you thought had complete opposites to you, let's just say you listen to someone who's saying, "I think the manager needs to go now, and I think we need better owners." I bet if you listen to the monologue he's got, I bet you agree with some of it. I bet you don't agree with all of it, but I bet you don't think, do you know what? Actually, that's a fair point. Or you might look at it and go, I didn't even think about that. Do you know what I mean? It might open your ideas to other stuff. That's why I like listening to other people's opinions. I use Clive as an example. I love listening to Clive because he's complete opposite to me in terms of where he thinks we're going. But I listen to him and I think, bloody hell, Clive, yeah, I didn't think about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he opens my, it's the way it is, the way it should be.
100%. And it's a great little, it's just gone through, just saying, like, well, if we don't win anything, you know, the players will leave, right? Okay, and I get that. That's a great point. Is it Arteta's fault then that the players don't shut down for the Neto goal? Is it Arteta's fault that when the cross comes over, probably Saliba's offside and shouldn't be offside, but and Trossard takes it off the toe of Havertz? You know, players have got to have accountability as well. Maybe the players are not as good as what we think they are. You know, we've been lauding the players over the last couple of years. Maybe at the end of the day, they're not as good as what we think they are. Maybe I've got blinkers on when it comes to Martinelli and Kai Havertz and Saka up front. Maybe I've got blinkers on Declan Rice. I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's all right saying, oh, the players.
Some of that is true, actually. Not you having blinkers. I think some of our squad has been quite overhyped, if I'm honest. I think it's good squad, but I think it's very, very. When I'm seeing Brighton and Villa bringing on subs, I'm thinking, crikey, I'd love to bring on them. Where are they on our bench? When I'm looking at that, that means the squad is good, but not quite that level. And that's why I still think we're short, personally.
Yeah, I get that, Dan. But like, come on, let's be honest. Like, if we'd have signed Pedro for you know, what is it from Watford? Was he like? You know what I mean, I can't remember that. You know.
Oh, João Pedro. Sorry.
Yeah, João Pedro. Everybody be going. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be happy with that. You know what I mean? Like. But listen, like, Trossard was signed and it was a good signing. But realistically, I think everybody sort of says he's a squad player, but he's pushed his way into maybe starting, which is how it should be. I get what we're saying. You know, this season, I see someone else in the chat, which was a very, very good point. If Man City were winning this league by 9 points now, would it be, and not Liverpool, would we be as crazy as what we are? I don't know. You know what I mean? There would probably be a little bit more acceptance to it, I suppose.
It is the head loss because it's Liverpool. That's what it is.
Yeah, but Liverpool, I didn't really notice Liverpool fan. I don't know. Was they losing their heads than when we was 8 points clear a couple of seasons ago?
I think, but if you want my opinion, I think they've been massively disrespected by a lot of our fan base this season. They are a very good side, and people seem to think they're like it's Leicester ahead of us or something. Like, they are a top side. They are
Listen,
big, massive.
They were last season, Dan. I think people forget that. You know what I mean? They lost the league at the same time as we did. If you look back at it. Because what happened was they lost at Crystal Palace and we lost at Aston Villa on the same day. After that, we went and won every single game, right? They didn't. You know, unfortunately, so did Man City. But like, up until that game, they was very, very much in with a chance of winning the league. They've just tinkered with a little bit of their stuff, mainly the manager, because he's not so gung-ho. And they're where they are. But I'd be really honest. Looking at their fixtures, I reckon it's about right. If that was Arsenal, I think we'd be on the same amount of points. You know what I mean? Like drew at Liverpool, you know, lost at Forest. You know what I mean? We've got Forest next. If we'd be going mad if we lose to Forest. You know, so I think I think if at the moment and I want to bring this up because it is an interesting thing on the league table. And just forget about where it is at the moment. After 11 games, Arsenal have won 4, Arsenal have won 5, drawn 4, lost 2. Right. At the end of it, that ain't. It's too many draws, then. Right, too many draws. If I be honest, right, 2 draws more than it should be. You know, do you agree with that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or would you like to be like?
I think Man City and Liverpool drawing against them two, I can take. I think the ones that are hurting me more,
right? Yeah, so they're the 2 that we've drawn to, like, yeah. So there's 2 we draw. But you've also got to say that Brighton was in that one, which we should have won. But Chelsea away's in that as well. You know what I mean? Like, so out of our 4 draws, 2 you said you're going to take. Chelsea away's a difficult one, and
Brighton we had 10 men.
Brighton we had 10 men. So you're always going to get that one like they have there. Liverpool have got a great result against Arsenal. That is their only draw of the season. But they've got to go to Manchester City, right? They've got to go to Newcastle. They've got to go to Tottenham, right? Now, if they come out and win all of those 3 games, that's fair enough. You know what I mean? Like, but they might draw 3 of them or lose a couple of them. I don't think really people have put it into perspective at this moment where they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they've got to go.
Do you know why? Right. The reason I'll comment on this is because, right, I totally agree with you. I look at the table right now. I think we're maybe looking too much at where the points are, where everyone else is. Yeah. I think it's early for that, right? My biggest concern is not, oh my God, we're 9 points. Oh my God, Chelsea are with us. Oh my God, we ain't far behind in front of Tottenham. I don't give a shit about all of that. What I care about is how we're performing, and that's my biggest concern.
That is the key question. That is the key thing, right? Because you have a look at. Now. This is where I'm going to flip it, and exactly right. In those 11 games, we've won 5. Haven't been convincing. I don't think in any of them. Played well at Man City for half hour, and you know you have to go into the context of what it was. I thought that first half was fantastic. We beat them up, you know what I mean, like up there. I think we'd have gone on and won by more if it weren't for the sending off. You know what I mean? Michael Oliver knew that and thought, "Oh, I better do something about it." But anyway, like that's another story. But I don't think that if you go back to the first couple of games, Wolves at home wasn't convincing. Brighton at home wasn't convincing. Certainly Southampton and Leicester. Come on, you know what I mean? Manchester United has just romped 3-0 against them. Like we struggled against them, Dan, if I'll be honest. If you go in there. The Tottenham game, circumstances. I get that, circumstances. Villa game, I didn't think we played really, really well. But, you know, as I say, Liverpool got to go to Aston Villa as well, which is not easy. Now, look where Villa are now to when we played them. We played them at the beginning of the season when they was 4-0. And then, like, you know, or 2, you know, I think they was their first 6 games, they'd won 5, lost 1.
Now they're 9.
They're 9. So they've had a little slump. I do think this European football thing at the moment has had a little bit of an impact on that. I do, Dan. I do. But when I look at it, Liverpool at this moment in time, I'm going to be this is their away games that they've still got to go to. Manchester City, Chelsea, right? They've got to go to Forest, which I don't think is going to be easy. Right, they've got to go to Newcastle, Villa, Spurs, and I do believe that. Did they play Man United at home or away? I think they played them away, didn't they? So
Old Trafford, yeah.
and they've got Everton away. And before anybody says, "Oh, Everton away," like you know, I mean, that's a different game for Liverpool to any other game, like you know. So if they come out and win all
last year, didn't they? They lost
they come win all that. They only got to lose 3 of those games, right? Okay. And that is, but then you're going to, I know what people are going to hit you with, like, well, we've got to win it. And that is exactly why Arsenal now must go on a 10-game winning streak. They must win their next 10 games. If they do not win any of their next 10 games, Arsenal, then they've had it. Now, we had a little chat about this and said, like, and this is why I'm being a little bit positive at this moment in time than I'm not losing it at the moment, because there are things that I think that maybe just keep us in this race. I'm not saying that they are, by the way, like you know, we have Forest at home, West Ham away, United at home, Fulham away, Everton at home, Palace away, Ipswich at home, Brentford at away, Brighton away, Spurs at home. Like, you know what I mean? So, listen, I get that thing that someone just saying in the chat there, like, you know, wouldn't you rather have the points on the ball? Of course you'd rather have the points on the ball. But you've got to, that's what I'm saying now. Win those 10 games, the points will be on the board then, you know what I mean? Now, if Liverpool go away from home and they beat all those teams we just said, hands up. There's nothing you can do about that. Fair play. You know what I mean? Like, hands up. There's nothing you can do about it. Like we had to do with Man City last season. We've done everything we could, like, you know what I mean? Hands up. They were better. And I haven't got a problem with that, like, you know what I mean? So the problem is, and you're going to come back with this, and probably people in the chat with me, our performances don't merit that we're going to get.
That's my problem. That's the only problem I got. It's the only problem I got. Because I'll tell you what it is, right? The only positive I can look at in the table, when I look at the league table, people say the table don't lie. I actually agree with that. I don't think the table does lie. You can't. It's facts. It's you're doing well, you'll be up there. You ain't doing well, you'll be down there, right? I look at where the Premier League is after 11 games. How many do you think we've played in the bottom half of that table? I'll tell you, 2, right? So everyone else we've played is in the bottom half of that. Is in the top half of that table.
Oh, I didn't know that, like, yeah.
Right, so that means that our games fixture, and I know you've got to play everyone twice before everyone comes down at me, but there's only 8 more games. Actually, there's 8 more teams we've got to play that we ain't played yet, and they're all in the bottom half, right? Bar 1, I think. So I look at it, I can't think who it is now. There's one, Fulham. There you go. It's Fulham that we ain't. Oh no, sorry, it's Forest. So there's 2. So it's Forest and Fulham that we ain't played in the top half. Everyone else we've played, right? And we've got them pretty much in the next coming weeks, haven't we? Yeah. So that you look at that now, there's only Southampton and Leicester basically that we've played that are in the bottom half. Everyone else has done well so far this season. So if you look at form and how people are playing, we have had some tough fixtures, but we have got to play everyone again, and we have got to play everyone twice, and everyone plays each other twice. So for me, I look at it and I can go through stats like that and look at it all. Arsenal, the sort of side that will go and beat Man United, and then we'll lose to Fulham. That's the sort of Arsenal that we are, right? So I don't look at it too much into that. My problem is at the moment, I don't like the way that we're playing. Differences, players back now. We've got Odegaard back. We ain't got the injuries. We've got 5 or 6 players don't look fit to me, Lee. I think Havertz's been running to the ground. Saka's been running to the ground. Rice ain't right. Odegaard's just come back. Timber's been trying to get 9 months of layoff. Ben White ain't been overlapping. Don't look fit to me. We've got about 6 or 7 that just need to get a couple of rests in now. And I hope that this international breaks come at a good time. And, you know, that leads us nicely on to my first question about Odegaard, Rice and Saka. I am so pleased those 3 are staying, Lee. So pleased those 3 are staying now. Odegaard staying, Saka staying, Rice staying. Rest up, get fit, and it gives you a couple of weeks off, mate.
That is fantastic news, and Martinelli never got picked for the Brazil squad as well, like, you know. So that's because he come back with a slight injury, which people forget about. So that's good. I don't know if Havertz has gone to Germany. I don't know if he has or not. No, I haven't seen any information on that. If someone could let us know, that'd be good. Thomas Partey's not gone, by the way. So yeah, I think that is very, very much needed. Like, you know. I think that the Odegaard one senses prevailed there, isn't it? Like, you know, I think that you know, like, listen, Norway would love to have him there, but they're feeling that he needs to be more. You know, the part of me thinks, all right, yeah, go there and get a few minutes for them, but like at the end of the day, the other thing is that he can get minutes in behind the closed doors friendlies if he needs them, like, you know what I mean, or just build up on his fitness, Dan, you know, over the next couple of weeks, really have a nice few days off. I don't really know how they work these internationals now. Years ago, they used to, used to have like a week off, a few days holiday, and then, but it seems Mikel gives them like a couple of days off over the weekend now, so they come in like, I don't know, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off or something like that. It's bad, but like, you know, they used to go away and get an holiday. Like, you know, one of the reasons why I think if I was a footballer, I think, I'd be like Ben White, but I'm going on holiday. But I'd rather, you know, that if they're still training, it ain't the same, is it? So I don't know how they go about that now. But like, listen, they're going to get rest. Declan Rice is the one for me that needs them. Yeah. If I'm Mikel Arteta, I would be saying to Declan Rice, you don't need to do like you got a broken toe. Just go have a week away. Go and do a week away. Go on holiday. Get yourself in the old sun. Get a bit of the old suntan on the old toe. That'll always help it out. He's you know what I mean. I love Deck, but he could always do with a sunbed. Get out there, get some rest, and then come back fresh and attack it. Because as I mentioned, those 10 games there, Dan, we've also got some very, very important Champions League games in between that. You know, we've got our next game Sporting, then we've got Monaco, who are a surprise package up the top there. So we're going to have to win 3 of the 4 Champions League games to guarantee us top 8. Otherwise, we're going to have more games. So it's very, very important, those games. And also, I don't care what anybody says, Crystal Palace at home in the Carabao Cup is an important game for us. We've got to win that because silverware is on the horizon. And I think that we need to get a winning mentality. So there's some big games coming up. I also think, Dan, that Christmas is very, very good for us. I don't know how you feel about that, but
very good. Probably the best festive period on paper we've had in years.
Yes, and it's also spread out very, very conveniently for us. You could be playing on the Wednesday. I don't know when. Is it Boxing Day's on the Wednesday, then playing on the Sunday? But we're playing Wednesday to Wednesday over Christmas. That's incredible, Dan. When you think that normally there was times where you had 3 games in that amount of time. So we've got 2 games spaced out in a week. We haven't got to play Boxing Day. I don't know how the players feel about that. I quite like Boxing Day fixtures, but I don't know. I never really loved it when I was playing because you had to couldn't drink on the Christmas day because you got to play Boxing Day. But anyway, that's by the by. And then the New Year's Eve one or New Year's Day. And then obviously then you go to Brighton on the Saturday, which is a 5:30 kickoff. So that ain't a bad Christmas night, and that's why there was always shocks in the FA Cup, Dan, because we'd be jaded, or the big teams would be jaded over Christmas and maybe rest 1 or 2 in the FA Cup, and that's when that 3rd round becomes a bit of a slippery slope. So listen, to get the players now to have a nice little break just before Christmas is what they've got now. Declan Rice, Odegaard, Saka as well. I think that, I think that if we got a game next week, he'd be out of playing it then. But I think England play Thursday, so maybe it was a little bit too early, but it pulled out. Fantastic. So they're all going to. So our front 3 are getting a nice rest then, or front 4, if you say with Odegaard. They're all getting a nice little rest. Declan Rice getting a rest, Thomas Partey. So that's basically a lot of our important attacking players having a rest. What does that tell you? No excuses when we come back against Forest. I expect us to be flying, and I expect us to be having a real go. Like Martinelli went to Brazil, did he, Jonathan? Well, that bloody journalist Tom told us that he didn't.
Unless he's been called up since. He definitely didn't get called up first. Maybe someone's got injured and he now has. But I was told that Gabriel went, but Gabriel Martinelli did not. Oh, he replaced Rodrigo, Jonathan said. There we go. So he has gone now. So that means there's 6 of our 11 that have gone. So we've got Raya.
Jonathan, where did you find that out? Please let us know in the chat.
Yeah, let us know if that is true. If there's a source, I'll try and have a look in a minute. So we got Raya's going to go, but I don't think he plays. I think it's Unai Simon that goes in goal. Ben White don't go, he stays. Saliba and Gabriel both gone. There we go. Gabriel and Martinelli have arrived in Brazil yesterday. So that's different. Timber's gone, I think. Partey stayed. Rice has stayed. Odegaard stayed. So that's all of our 3 trio stayed. That's good. Saka has stayed. And then Havertz and Martinelli are gone.
All right, so he got pulled up. So he wasn't in the squad, and then he's been called into it.
He's been called up. He won't play though, will he? He won't play. It's only a squad player, isn't it? Rodrigo starts them, but I think they'll bring the next guy. I think it's remember his bloody name. They get another guy in as well who was ahead of Martinelli. They called him up. I can't remember his name now. Tom did say it yesterday. I can't remember. But yeah, if he's now gone, then Martinelli is gone. He has gone. But look, that doesn't bother me really. Martinelli, for me, I think out of everyone, Martinelli actually needs a bit of bloody minutes and confidence because he ain't playing well enough, in my opinion. So let's get him, in and around places, and that's fine by me. As long as they don't get injured, these people, then we go from there. But other than Calafiori and Tomiyasu, who I think both might be back after the international break, Lee, we've got pretty much a full squad now to pick from.
Yeah. I think someone put that in the chat. I went through a bit quick there. Was that where is it, Tomiyasu? He's back in training, so he will be available after the international break. Like, I'm pretty sure Tierney must be close to it as well. Like, you know what I mean? So I imagine that at some stage they'll have some sort of games behind closed doors to get them back up and running. Like, you know what I mean? So Tierney's been out for a long while, hasn't he? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
Euros. He did his knee, didn't he, in the Euros? I'll tell you someone who has been called up to Portugal squad. Nuno Tavares, as we call him in London. He's been absolutely killing it at Lazio. He has literally got the most assists in the top 5 leagues. He's been playing left wing. He's been absolutely balling out there, apparently. So that's that. I think for Tierney, I think he'll end up going to Celtic in January, Lee. I think we'll try and do a deal for him over there.
yeah.
He's not wanted it, is he, by Arteta? He probably wants to stay and join the squad, but let's be real. He's been sat on the bench the whole time. Saliba, he's definitely gone. There's pictures of him, which is fair, and obviously Gabriel, as we mentioned. So yeah, we've got 4 or 5 of us that ain't gone in the first 11, which, when you think of it, is actually quite a lot, because if you're in the first 11, you're going to get called up really for your national team, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Because you're obviously a good player. If you're playing for Arsenal, you're going to be going for your international squad. Do you know what I mean? So we got a few there that are now going to be potentially putting out, which is brilliant. But I wanted to bring this news to you as well, Lee, because I'll share the screen for everyone. There was talks. I was with a gal actually yesterday or the day before, can't remember now, talking about. I don't like to talk about transfers in the window in the summer, but it's more about kind of where Arteta sees his squad at the moment. This has come from the ex-scout, Mick Brown. Says, I know there's concerns about Raheem Sterling. Getting him on loan was seen as a real coup because Chelsea are still paying most of his wages, but when they're looking for results, he doesn't seem to come on. That points to some clear issues behind the scenes, and I've heard his training might not be completely up to scratch. We know Arteta demands a certain level from his players and isn't scared to leave them out if they aren't meeting his expectations. He then goes on to say, that from what he's told, Arteta isn't happy with the makeup of the team in that position on the wide area. There's been huge question marks about Sterling, Martinelli and Jesus, and they are now all viewed as squad players. From what I'm told, Arsenal want to improve in that position in the transfer market. The recruitment and scouting team have already been looking at players. A real superstar and a game-changing player is what they're looking for. Trossard, Martinelli, Jesus, Sterling, all under pressure, Lee, it seems.
Yeah, and rightly so. They've got to deliver, and on that left-hand side, I don't think really anybody's nailed it 100%. I think Martinelli's done okay. I actually look back at Martinelli's performance on Sunday because a lot of people were saying he weren't that great, or he was great. And a good point was made. Like, he had 2 chances in that game, and he took one of them. Like, Haaland had 4 chances in his game the other day and took 1. So I think Bournemouth, he had 1 chance, missed it. Sometimes you need more than 1 chance. So I know that the clinical side of it, all that, but what I liked about that is that he had the 1 chance, didn't take it. The second one he did, but I thought he was our most dangerous player in that game. I know that Cucurella got man of the match for shutting down Saka. 2 centre halves done a fairly decent job on Kai Havertz, and I felt that their right back was decent, but at the end of the day, credit where credit's due. He see him off. He had to come off, and they brought on James, and then Martinelli come off, and I thought, to be fair, that Trossard done well when he come on. Very, very positive. I don't know if you noticed, there was a couple of times in that game that Trossard could have just played the easy ball back, but he didn't. He got the ball and drove into their heart of their defence and caused a few problems. So that looked a little bit better. But I don't think no one's nailed that position down. I really don't. And let's be honest, I think that they were looking at someone last season, last transfer window. It didn't happen. I don't know if there's a falling out over that, we was told, weren't we, about Neto, because Harvey's just brought out about Neto. Why we didn't go for him is that Chelsea were well down the line for him before anything of this happened. And also with Neto, I actually, I think with Neto, I watched him on Sunday. He was much, much better on the right than he was the left. So we want someone that's naturally down that left that's going to do, like, let's be honest, Dan, was it last January we was looking at Mudryk, weren't we? Really, like, heavily.
Yeah.
That didn't come off. So it's been something they've been looking at for a while now, like, someone asked me that question, would you take Mudryk now, like, for a lot less and all that, like, I think that the actual move to Chelsea's ruined him, you know what I mean? Confident. He needs to rebuild his career. I don't know how, but he's going to have to, like, sometimes a move can kill you and destroy it. So it'd be interesting, like, to see what we can go there, like, Kudus would be a good one, Harvey.
That'd be a brilliant one. I mean, look, you're bang on. He has looked at that position for a while now, which proves to me that, look, he wanted Mudryk, he got Trossard, he wanted Nico Williams, he got Sterling. He doesn't seem to want any of them long term. Jesus has proven, let's just be real, I'm kind of done with Jesus now. I think he'll go to Saudi Arabia in the summer. He's not sharper than ever. He's not better than ever. I don't know what Arteta's on. I think that was just a bit of copium. He looks absolutely abysmal. He is wrong. When that performance against Chelsea was a disgrace when he come on, Lee. It was absolutely awful. So really, we're saying that the only two players in the whole of our attack that have absolutely got a future here are Havertz and Saka. That's it. That's not good enough, mate. So it's clearly the area we need to look at. We've got to look at the left-hand side. We've got to look at the attacking midfield position if Odegaard out there. We've got to get a striker, man. We absolutely have to. So there's an argument to say that we need at least 2, maybe 3 attack-minded players in the coming windows.
Well, we're going to need a midfield player of some thing. I've earmarked the player that I would want from midfield now.
Go on.
I won't get him. Like, I'm going to say,
Oh, go on.
I'm going to go Rodgers at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I like him.
I'd get him, Declan Rice in the holding position, and Odegaard. That would be the 3, all young. That would be the one that I would go for now. Like, he's the one player that's really, really impressed me, but he's doing well now. The Villa ain't going to let him go anyway. Like, but I just really, really like him as a midfield player. Wide player on the left, I'm not too sure who would fit that bill, but we need someone that's going to. Do you know what, Dan? That's going to do what Martinelli was doing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
15 goals, whatever it was.
15 goals, going past people, making things happen. I don't know. He's not been quite the same. I do think that maybe, like, that's a little bit tactical wise, but all that. But I think now you've got to say, this is what I'm saying about Arteta now. He's got to say, right, it's, like, who let the release the dogs now, release them. Like, you know what I mean? They've got to take the shackles off. These have got to be done now, like, that front 3, whoever, like, have got to get back to how they were last season, banging in goals and creating chances and scoring goals. Saka down one side, Martinelli down the other, Havertz down in the middle. They have got to really, really go. And we have got to start blowing teams away, which we've not looked like doing all season, Dan. So I'm convinced about that. But I do think that I don't think we get the. I know. Listen, I know that you have a dance around the Emirates naked if we get old Victor Cocker.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, I think I might join you.
Or Isak, one of those two.
If we got them in January, I think I might join you. You know what I mean? We'll have a dance around. We'll run around the Emirates naked, like, there you go. Like,
yeah, let's do it. I mean, look, I've got to be real with you. I actually think there's 4 or 5 players Arsenal still need. And people might think that's crazy because people said we only need a striker and we're done. The reason we need more than that, is because we're ever evolving. Like, some people seem to think that this 5-year project was, let's get our squad and then we don't touch it for 5 years. Nah, man, we got to keep going. We got to keep building. And for me, you got to look at Partey and Jorginho in the summer and say, are they what we need moving forward? They're both in their 30s. You've got to look at the wide areas and say, if Saka isn't there, who's there to take his place? You've got to look at the number 9 and say, can Havertz do it all on his own? Or does he need a bit of help? You've also got to look at what happens if Saliba gets injured long term. Who comes in? Is Timber the guy there? Is Ben White shifty? Does Tommy Asu try and come in and make 2 games? Or do we need a bright-sided centre-half? What happens to Kivior? Does he stay? Does Zinchenko and Tommy Asu have to go because they're injury-prone? I think there's a lot of work to do still, Lee. I don't think it's just bringing a striker and then boom, we go and win the league. You've got to ever evolving, man.
No, we need a striker, but I think the DNA of the midfield needs to be looked at. I hear what people are saying, like, oh, we need another that one. I think let's see where Wanyeri develop. I think that's I don't really want to block up his sort of route. So that would be for me. He's in a couple of years' time. I do think that he will be a good midfield player for us. I like Jorginho still. That is something that.
Why has he not been playing, Lee? That's a good question. Why are we not seeing enough of him, do you think? Is it because we haven't needed him because of Party or what?
That's a good point. I think maybe, because Party's been playing so well, we haven't really needed to use him so much. I think that's quite a good thing. I like what he does. I know he hasn't got the legs as to get in there, but I like the way he keeps the ball. He keeps us with the ball, keeps us in possession a lot, So I don't know. And listen, if his legs have gone, who's that? Jonathan saying he's got no legs no more. If that's the case, why did we keep him another year?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not so sure. But if that's the case, then we've got to find a similar player to him as well, I want someone driving from midfield, driving past our strike. I don't think that we have that enough then. Do the third ball running, do you know what I mean?
I agree.
That player bursting through the midfield, a bit like Michael Thomas done back in the day, you know what I mean? When do you see Declan Rice or any of our midfield players having one-on-ones with the goalkeeper? So I feel that we need to get somebody like that, like Ramsey type sort of a player. Yeah, someone like that, and I think that Rodgers is the nearest thing that I've seen that could do that. Someone that can drive past players.
I don't want to overhype Rodgers because I know he's come from City and he's doing well at Villa. I don't want to overhype him. But I got Bellingham vibes when he first come on the scene. I just think he's that sort of midfielder. I don't know if he's going to reach the top and go play for Real Madrid, by the way. But I do think that he has got that style about him. He can play box to box. He can drive. He can scare teams. He absolutely battered us when we played him. I'm sorry, he absolutely destroyed us.
Didn't even know who he was then. I had to get on my phone to see who he was. That's how impressive I was with that performance from him. I thought he bossed our midfield that day. Unbelievably, and that was with Odegaard, and that was with Rice in there, and Thomas Partey, and he just. Do you know what? There was 4 or 5 times he brushed aside Thomas Partey and Declan Rice that game. So listen, we know that Villa ain't going to sell him. Right? We're just sort of having a little bit of a dream at the moment, we can daydream. You know what I mean, guys? Come on, let it go.
We can dream, and I hope and I pray that when we get the window open, that something happens. Because if it don't, you think the meltdown at the moment is bad. My goodness. If we aren't in a position where we're a couple of points off the top and we don't buy anyone in January, we are I don't know. Dan, I'll tell you this now, if that does happen, I don't know how anybody can defend people that are upset. I don't know how anyone can defend that. I really don't. I'll be really interested to see if we do actually get an understanding of, oh, wow, we're only 4 points off Liverpool now, or whether it's City or whatever it be, we're 4 points off the top. We're in January. Go and get Victor Gyökeres. Go and get that one player we need. It doesn't have to be Gyökeres. Go and do something in the window you think you need. And if they don't do something and we don't win the league, I don't know how anyone can sit there and say the ownership and the board aren't to blame along the side of the manager, because that is not supporting your team and your manager and pleasing your fans by sitting there doing.
I'm with you. Arsenal, if they put themselves in a position where they're back in the title race, or they're for one, or they're not in the title race, and they don't do anything in January, either way, then I think a lot more people will turn. I think the likes of myself for the moment are giving it these 10 games, and that takes us into January. Tottenham, by the way, which is I'm halfway through January. I know I've got FA Cup games. I don't know when it is, but it'll be halfway through the transfer window then. And if we have won those 10 games, then we could be back in the title race, and they don't go and get what they need to win it, then there'll be problems. And if we're not if we're sort of 9 points behind it, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's certain things that've got to be said and done. And I agree with you on that, Dan. I think then, you know, the next 2 months of Arsenal Football Club, 3 months are very, very important to see where we are, because there's a lot of fans at this moment in time want it to work, you know, a couple of my mates are saying, well, let's see what happens till Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, we know by Christmas, well, we know by January, and like people have said, well, we know by May, but it'd be too late in May. But I still think by January you'll know whether we can win this title or we can't. And if they then you know, choose to do nothing in January, I think. Do you think that we'll spend big in January? If you put a gun to my head, I'm saying no.
This is a nice segue. This is a nice segue for me to close with this section. The Cronkies. Let's talk about them, because we haven't spoke about them for ages, to be fair. And I think me and you are on a similar basis. We don't really hate and want them out, but we're at the same stage that we do put pressure on them. I have always had concerns that they don't have ambition to win us trophies and get us across the line. And I do think they've spent a hell of a lot of money, and I do think that their project has worked to get us back challenging. What they've done with the patience of Mikel, they deserve praise and credit for. But they haven't won us anything. Let's be real. They've got 4 FA Cups to their name since they've been here. In fact, have they even got that? Yeah, they have. They've got 4 FA Cups to their name. That's it. That's all they can say they've won for Arsenal. Not won us a Champions League, not won us a Premier League, still haven't got us a League Cup or anything in Europe whatsoever when we weren't in the Champions League. So they can only really say thanks to Arsene Wenger's 3 FA Cups. Or have they won more? They've won 5 FA Cups, sorry, because Arteta got one as well. So they've got 5 FA Cups to their name. That's not ambitious enough for the club the size of Arsenal. It's great if you're a West Ham, Everton or a Newcastle, because you get an FA Cup, so that they absolutely adore to, would love to be in opposition to win, right? But for us, we want to be winning the majors and getting across the line of the big boys. I don't think they have shown enough ambition to get us across the line. Let me just forget about Arteta and Edu and this regime. Let's go back. Let's go back to when we had Fabregas and Van Persie, right? We had Fabregas and Van Persie, and we were brilliant going forward. At the time, if you remember, we had Rosicky, we had Alexander Hleb, we bought Nasri, we bought Arshavin, and we were great going forward. Never had any defenders. Didn't have a DM, but we had everything else up top. Then you flip it and you think we've got Ozil and Sanchez, and you think, oh, fantastic. Never had a striker. Never wanted to upgrade on Giroud. That was it. He was good, by the way, but was never going to take us to where we wanted him to, right? A little bit like Havertz now. Then we go and get the strikers, Aubameyang and Lacazette. And now we've got Socrates and David Luiz at the back. Why have we always have a department that's not quite ready yet? And that has been under the Cronkies' reign. And it's still there now. We ain't got the 9. But we've got everything else. We're stacked at the back. Not quite sure about midfield, but we haven't got the 9, that's for sure. We've only just got about enough in each department. We haven't got what we need. And I have to say that is an ownership thing. That must be, because the common denominator here is it happened under Mikel, it's happened under Unai, it happened under Wenger, it happened under Pat Rice, it happened under Edu, it happened under Steve Bold, it happened under Raul Sanlehi, it happened under Hus Fahmy and Sven Mislintat. Their ownership. So how can we say that this is not a Cronky thing? Because we've had, we've got a striker in Lacazette now. Oh, Christ, where's our defence? Oh, yes, we've got Ozil and Sanchez now. They've got no one to feed up top. Oh, we've got, Partey and Gabriel. Well, now we haven't got bloody striker again. Is that me going mad, or am I being serious here?
No, I think that it's a great point that you say. You know what I mean? Maybe they've got restrictions we don't know, but they went and bought Declan Rice. That was a massive statement then. You know, that shows you that the club were going down. And then this season they've skinflinted this summer. That frustrates me as a fan, frustrates you as a fan. I don't know if that has got restrictions on that. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I think that they've done okay. I don't think everybody's, I'm not on this camp where they're fantastic and they're lauding what they've done and everything. I think they've been okay. Do I think they could have pushed the boat out a little bit more? Yes, I do. But is it all about spending money? Not always. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily agree that it should be, but I think that they have put their money where their mouth is to a certain degree with the Declan Rice one. I think we know all about these owners in the next 2 windows.
Yeah, I do as well.
I really do, Dan, because
it's obvious, isn't it? It's so obvious what we need now.
Yeah, we know what we need. The club should know what we need. I don't care who's ever there behind the scenes and everything like that. They know what they need, whether it's a wide left player, whether it's a centre forward. If they don't go and get a centre forward, then I'm thinking to myself, that's down to Mikel because he doesn't want that centre forward. I don't know, you know. But if he might want to get it as a wide player or midfield player, but they're going to have to spend big next season. We're 2 years now deep into the Champions League. If we get into the Champions League again next season, that's 3 seasons. There's been a little bit of talk because we weren't in the Champions League. That's why for that long. But you know, we're in the Champions League now. We was in the Champions League for 1 year and we didn't really spend any money. Then, if you work it out, what we sold, there wasn't much of a difference, was there? And I don't think Arsenal really spent anything. If you think that they sold Smith Rowe, they sold a couple of other players, didn't they? Like, you know what I mean? So they haven't really spent a lot of money this season. So I think next season, yeah, it'd be a real indication of what they're doing and all that. Like, I don't think they're as bad as what people make out, and they're not as good as what people make out.
Kind of in the middle. I mean, look, I get you, and I understand. I don't think they've been shambles of owners because the money they've pumped into it, or I say the money they've pumped in, the money they've allowed us to spend in it. I also believe as well there's an opportunity for us to look at this PSR and FFP thing because people can use it as an excuse as to why we've not spent money and why perhaps Liverpool and City have not spent money. But Kroenkes were doing this before this PSR and FFP started to be cramped down on. That was the problem. We were never getting across the line with it. How many windows did we have where Petr Cech was just signed? That was it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Petr Cech. Cool. You know, that was under the Kroenkes reign. We've had transfer windows in January that were just dwindled away, that were giving players away for free. Aubameyang went away. We gave them money to go, I will pay off his contract. There you go, have him. £7 million down the drain. We'll give him to you and you can send him to Chelsea for 12 million the following summer. Like that kind of stuff. That has not been good enough from Arsenal's point of view. And when you actually do deep it, this summer just gone, we got the cheap deal with Sterling. Marino was anyone could have signed him. No one wanted him. He was 30 million euros. It was easy to do for anyone, but we got that across the line. Calafiori was a good signing, probably the best one we've had so far in the summer. But actually, by the time you add up what we got for Eddie, what we got for Ramsdale, what we got for Smith Rowe, what we got for Reece, what we got for Vieira, you think actually with them wages off the bill from loans and from the players that we sold, we ended up bloody making money. Not spending.
Yeah.
So, like, let's be real. This has not been a good window, people. It has not been. And when I was stunned. I understand people want to stay positive and want to remain a little bit of hope. I get that. I totally appreciate it. I wish I could do it, Lee, more. Actually, that's one thing about me. I wish I could do. Right? I do. I can't be fake though. I've got to say how it is. I can't sit there and go, come on, then let's actually get behind it. Saka, that Sterling's going to be the next Saka. Let's get it. When I knew it was going to happen. So when it happened, I'm thinking, bloody hell, this is underwhelming. But I'll get behind the team. Let's see. Oh, what's happening here? So I was a bit like that, you know. Whereas I think some people were like, oh my God, Marino and Calafiori, that's sorted our left hand side out, and Sterling's now backing up. This is brilliant. Let's go and do it. Whereas I was like, where's our striker? Sterling, I'd rather have Reece bringing him on, and Smith Rowe ain't been replaced. So that was where I was looking at it. Now, I'm hoping there, when I was saying that, people go, you'll be wrong, Dan, you'll be wrong. I've been proven right in every single part so far, and I'm pissed off. I wanted to go, bloody hell, got that wrong about Sterling. Look at him absolutely lapping it up. Look at Havertz with 15 goals to his name already. Who needs a striker? Look at Wanyeri. He's proven he's ready. He's coming on every game, scoring goals. Calafiori and Marino have sorted our left-hand side out with 9 clear. I got it wrong. And instead, I'm sitting there going, we're 9 points behind. We ain't got a striker still. Sterling's given up on. We've got Jesus who's trying to come on the right and doing a bad job of it. Calafiori's injury prone and Marino ain't ready yet. Brilliant. And I hate that because that makes me sound negative. But what's wrong with what I've said there?
You know, listen, I think you got some good points there. Look, Calafiori, I like Calafiori. Been injured more than he's played. This is his second injury, and we're only like 3 months into the season. Marino was injured before he even started. You know, listen, he done okay against Chelsea, but you want more than okay, don't you?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but he's still early in his reign. So you're going to have to give them a little bit more time. But listen, I said it was a 7 and 6 to 7 out of 10 window, but I did say I always said we was 1 or 2 short. I did say that, and I still say that we didn't do enough to really push it into an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I think we still lack, as you say, a couple of players. And Sterling, I never said was going to work. How can I say about Sterling? I don't really want to be horrible about it. Like, it's just a stopgap.
It is
a stopgap. You know what I mean? And really, should Arsenal be in the position that we're in? Should we be having stopgap players? I don't think so. So
no.
7 out of 10 for certain reasons, but listen, I don't think it's as I said, like, I wasn't overly excited about the window when it finished, and listen, I go back to what Edu said. He turned around and said, look, don't worry, you'll be happy when the transfer window closes. If I'll be really honest, I wasn't happy. And now he's not here no more. So something must have gone on in my eyes. So let's see what happens in January. It may be listen, our January windows, by the way, are non-existent.
Well, they don't. It's tumbleweed, isn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah, so we need something to happen in January, you know what I mean? So,
well, look, let's come to a close with 2 things. First of all, before we do football prizes, because they are back, let's do a quiz question. Because I've got a quiz book now, an Arsenal quiz book, and I know you like a quiz.
I do like.
I know the chat will like a quiz as well, so chat can join in on this, right? Best player to play for Arsenal, in your opinion, is Patrick Vieira, from what I believe. Yeah. So I'm going to do a quiz question on Patrick Vieira. All right.
Right. Yeah.
There we go. And this is for everybody, by the way. How many trophies did Patrick Vieira win at Arsenal?
Very good. Very good. So he won the double in 98. That's 2. 99, he didn't win nothing. In 2001, he won 2. So that's 4.
Let me add something, because there is a bit of a trick to this one.
You're going to put in you're going to put
charity shields. Yeah.
Right. Well, right. So okay.
Charity shields are counted in this one.
2003 is 5. 2006. So 7 trophies altogether, major trophies he won. How many times did he win the Community Shield? 9.
Lee Judges, the correct answer is 9.
Yes, I worked that out well, Dan. I worked that out well.
You did. It's a bit of a maths question. Those ones are a little bit tricky, but you know your stuff there, mate. Well done. That was impressive. Well done. And well done in the chat as well, because a few of you got it right. So well done. Obviously, that's FA Cups, Premier Leagues, and Charity Shields. So for those that said 7, you kind of got it right. But Charity Shields, he won a couple of them as well. So there we go. A question on Patrick Vieira. Well done, Lee. Absolute legend. Football Prizes, mate, is back. Football Prizes is back with a bang, mate. With an absolute bang.
Well, look at that, like, you know what I mean? All of those shirts for just $2.95. So get on that, like, you know what I mean? That's an incredible prize. All signed as well, like, you know. So Saka, Perez, Freddie's in there. I think Martinelli's in there. I don't know who the 8 is. Is that Mikel Arteta? I'm not sure who that number 8 is. Like, I can't read that one.
What's that? Oh, Ian Wright is 8.
Oh, is Ian Wright? Well, even better, like, you know.
Got Martinelli 11, Ian Wright 8, Lundberg 8, Pires 7, Saka 7. I mean, there's legends and there's legends there. Do you know what I mean?
So, like, 2 7s, 2 8s, and 11, like, you know what I mean? Saka, Perez. That'd be a good combination, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Thanks. Yeah, it would.
Freddie, I think, do you know what I mean? One of the players I still think underrated.
Oh, he's so good, mate.
So good.
With his red hair, mate. With his red hair that season, 2002. He was outstanding, mate.
Ian Wright, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Martinelli, come on. You're in good company there, boy. And you need to push it on a little bit, like, you know, to be with him, like. But look, for just $2.95, you can win those prizes. And they've got some magnificent prizes there. So get yourself over there. And if you do win, let us know, because we've had one winner before. We'd like another one, like, yep.
Absolutely, 100%. We've had a couple of winners actually.
Okay.
Someone else reached out, so let's get a couple more on this channel. That's for sure. I know Sophie's had a winner and Tom's had a winner, so let's get some on this
Yeah,
channel as
come
well. Let us
on.
know. Please do not be shy. Let us know if you've won it. So footballprizes.co.uk. There's lots of Arsenal prizes on there. Lots of football prizes on there. Make sure you go and check it out, people. Lee, it's been a pleasure, mate. Big up to every single one of you. Is there a couple of no, there's a couple of comments. There was a couple of super chats there. But listen, big up to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe and stay where you are because it's going to redirect you over to the football terrace where I am going. It's going to be myself and Dooley Laguna with Terry and LB, who is going to actually get cooked because Man City lost 4 in a row. So please make sure you come and follow us.
I might have a little look at that then.
You might have to, mate. It's gone from the arrogance of City to very, very quiet at the moment. So it's quite nice to see. Lee, I'll let you see us out, mate, and say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah, like just to say, like Harvey, thanks for that. The Kojak film is out, will be out in January, so the filming went really, really well. So thanks for that. Listen, it's international break now. England playing Thursday. I'm washing my hair that night. Have a good one.